Hi, welcome. Thanks for coming to a brief introduction on making your own tinctures at home. I have a little booklet on Amazon that I wrote more than 20 years ago now. It's been updated a little, but it needs updating, and hopefully this will spark some of that. In the meantime, I noticed that it is increasingly a popular topic, practical healing at home, taking care of ourselves. And so this is meant to be very much an introductory course, very brief. If you're interested in finding out more, I encourage you to do so. You can reach out to me. There are many others. I took a course long ago under Rosemary Gladstar. She has a lot of great material out there, that you can find. Any case, this is going to be a brief introduction overview of what's commonly called the simpler method, which is in contrast to what's commonly called the pharmaceutical method, which is more precise, more scientific, has more measuring and that sort of thing in it, so that you can have an end product that that you know more about chemically. And so I want to make that distinction because neither is really better than the other. It depends on your usage, your intended use. And if you're making a professional product, please do your research, gain your knowledge and skills, and make a professional product. This is not that. This is for the home healer, the self-healer, the practical medicine man or woman in your own home, on your own time. A simple method for making an herbal extract, aka an herbal tincture. I'm going to be using vodka, alcohol, 80 proof, which is 40%, which is considered kind of is the minimum. You'll find flavored vodkas out there that are sometimes 70 proof, 35%. That's not quite enough to be certain, in my professional opinion, that you won't be growing some bacteria or something. So I encourage you to get some kind of alcohol that is at least 40%. I sometimes use Everclear, which is actually 90%, and then dilute it back down to about 50% with distilled water. That's my my artichoke heart toast talking to me over there. Anyway, I did make a list of some things that are optional that you might want to use or have on hand. And I'm going to go over those, and then I'm going to jump into what you definitely need to have on hand as a bare minimum. And then I'm going to pause and make a different video of me actually straining some tinctures, which I started some 6 months plus ago, and restarting a new fresh tincture so that you can see the process kind of beginning, middle, and end. So here are some things you might want to have. I always have pen and paper on hand. These days a camera is helpful, so you can document what you're doing, so that in case you don't take notes while you're doing it, you can take notes soon after. I like to use some labels. I have some here. You can use tape, but I like to mark on the container the date and what it is, both the type of alcohol or other extractant. You could use glycerin or vinegar, for example. Again, I like to use alcohol for numerous reasons, not the least of which being longevity and trustworthiness to not grow anything. You might want some gloves. I tend to just work with clean, freshly washed hands. But again, it depends on your application, depends on you, yourself, so you get to choose. You might want a little strainer or a bigger strainer to hold your cheesecloth. You probably do want some cheesecloth or some kind of straining, something that strains even more than a little strainer. So I use several layers of cheesecloth because it's cheap and comes relatively sterile. And then you might want some wide mouth jars, or you could use a different container. I'm using these wide mouth jars, and I already screwed down some cheesecloth on a couple of them, but then I will be demonstrating one of them here because I have 3 jars here. You might want some scissors if you're in the beginning stages to open your herbs, if they're coming sealed. You might want some alcohol, 40% or greater, that's 80 proof, your standard. You could use rum or whiskey or even gin, although I don't prefer it. Vodka being the plainest, simplest, my preferred alcohol these days, but and you could also use Everclear, but do make sure that you dilute it with distilled water when you have your finished product so that you don't end up with something that's too scary strong. And in fact, I do recommend using Everclear for some roots and barks and hard berries. That's what this is here, and that's because they're a little bit harder to extract the chemical properties out of sometimes when compared to leaves and flowers, for example, which are the most delicate. And then in between is usually berries and stems. These are elderberries here, one of my favorite herbs to extract and have on hand. I think that covers it. If you have any questions, do let me know. This is my first run through for this course. There will be other iterations, no doubt, a little more polished, but you never know, it could take a while. So I welcome your questions and comments. I hope that gives you a good overview. I won't make a written list if this is the course version of this, and you can look forward to a second and third video coming up next.